What's up? Hey, hello, everyone. Wow. So here, Alyssa and I are talking about Survivor Season 33, the Merge episode. So awesome. What a crazy week we've had. Alyssa and I voted in our first presidential election, and last episode, we basically guessed that it would be a 9-4 vote split on this Merge episode. And super nervous for our boy Adam Klein. He basically narrated the episode. So my name is Rachel.
And I'm Alyssa, and we are ready to podcast for you on this Thursday night. You may have seen us try to podcast earlier, but that was a failure because dorm Wi-Fi hashtag sucks. But so we are podcasting today instead of tomorrow because Rachel is going to be out of town and she will not be able to make the podcast, and we hate to have to podcast on Saturdays. So yeah.
So we're podcasting early, and this also means we've had less time to marinate in this episode. But on Monday, I think we are going to be doing a special podcast. We're sort of going to power rank the remaining players and who has the most chance of winning and who has lesser of a chance of winning this game. Since we've hit the merge, we're halfway through the season. Wow. It's crazy. I can't believe it.
Actually, more than halfway through the season now because they ended on day 23. 23 out of 39 is greater than one half. Look at me. I can do math.
So, Wow, yeah. I mean, so we start the episode off with Hannah, and I really think Hannah had a really good episode this time. She's gotten a lot of confessionals, way more than she's usually had. So I really feel like she's sort of growing out there, maybe becoming her own. And so we see that Hannah wants revenge. And then in one of the secret scenes online, Hannah is basically saying how maybe the whole ditzy thing is an act. So Alyssa, what do you think about this?
I mean, I think it's totally possible that the ditzy thing is an act. I don't like to believe that anyone is actually stupid. But I also have a lot more faith in people than I probably should. So I'm not sure exactly what acting ditzy would get her, since sometimes people are annoyed by ditzy people, but if she's seen as less of a threat, that could help her in the short term, but then in the long term at tribal council, I feel like it will be very difficult for her to make the argument that the ditzy thing is all an act unless she does something between now and then to make it back that up. Otherwise, it sounds kind of like, oh yeah, I totally meant to do that stupid thing that I've been doing.
Yeah, I feel like right now, at least, the tribe members sort of do perceive Hannah well. When Hannah was making jokes about eating Jeff Probst at tribal council, the whole tribe laughed. So I feel like she could be seen as maybe less smart or comic relief, sort of like David might be seen as. But I feel like, if she wants everyone to think she's dumb or something like that, we know she's thinking on that island. She knows she's at the bottom because she was left out of the last vote. She knows Jay, Will, Bret, and Sunday, left her out. And now, she wants revenge. And, good for Hannah. We see her going up to Jay at this early part saying, Jay, I am with you. I'm with all of you guys, I would have voted with you all if you guys trusted me, and you can 100% trust me. So I thought that was really good for Hannah, and I really think that sort of led to the whole Jay thing this episode, where we see Jay maybe being not overconfident about who he has in his pocket, but Jay thinks he has Hannah as a vote, but in reality Hannah did not vote with him this time.
Yeah, and I think that speaks equally to Hannah's deception skills, and I wouldn't say ignorance, but Jay's inability to read her. Just because I feel like sometimes if you've been with someone for a while, you assume that you understand them and how they will vote, even if you don't really. So false confidence. And I think it's kind of poetic justice almost that leaving Hannah out of the loop, she would leave Jay out of the loop. Not quite to the same degree, but
Yeah, and I mean, we definitely can talk about Jay, whether the Michaela thing was good move, bad move for like the next time section, because I really feel like we will start seeing the Michaela ramifications like soon or right now. And I mean, speaking of Michaela, the merge happens this episode. It is, like Adam says, a like monumental moment. You know, that's something if you go on Survivor, that's like a point that you want to make it to, because it's like it's like a great thing, like to say you made it to the merge, like you can get on the jury and stuff like that, like super, super cool. But my sad part about with this merge is, like, we didn't get to see everyone's reactions to Michaela getting voted out, and I really wanted to see, like, everyone's face when they saw Michaela, of all people, when you would think Bret or Sunday would go home, but Michaela went home.
Yeah, I feel like Michaela kind of got short end of the stick when it comes to voting out reactions, just because the merge is so much more exciting than that. So,
yeah, I mean, so I feel like the merge, it brings good and bad news for everyone. Like, new elements, you meet new people you may have never worked with before, you like are with a whole bunch of people, you're back with old people. It definitely flips everything upside down, and I feel like the merge helps people and then also does not help people. As we saw sort of with Michelle this episode, Michelle probably would have been the next person voted out of her orange tribe with Chris, Zeke, and David. And see, I would think that the merge would have helped her because, she wouldn't be the biggest target, but the merge, it ended her because she was still
she was kind of collateral damage, I guess. Like, I don't think that anyone set out like aiming to hurt Michelle herself, but I think they set out aiming to hurt her alliance, and she was target when it came to that. So
yeah, and that's always like the sucky thing. I feel like in a tight alliance like this, they never take out the head of the dragon. They always take out like one of the henchmen, and we saw it. I really related it to like Ozzy and Elise in South Pacific. Like, they wanted to lessen Ozzy's strength in numbers by taking out his like right hand girl, and I feel like they lessened Jay and like Taylor's numbers by taking out the right hand girl again. So like, you can't be safe. It's a sort of a bummer, because I would have rather seen Taylor go home. He is driving me crazy.
I mean, I was happy with Figtails being split up, but I do agree. I'm hoping to see Taylor go home sooner rather than, since he's now in the minority alliance. It's not exactly a non-possibility, but we can talk about that more on that next time bit.
Yeah, and I mean, definitely during the merge, like the whole first half of this episode was like alliance building, sort of like you see everyone talking, and I really think who gets screen time in the merge episode is like people that you need to like keep your eye on. So Bret gets like 2 confessionals of him talking about the merge, because basically if you don't get a merge confessional, like you aren't saying anything worthy enough to be in the merge episode, which if you don't have anything to say about a merge, there is a little problem with that. But Bret gets 2, and he basically says he knows Jay and Will like could be loyal to work with since they've worked together on their green tribe, but he wants to see Chris again, and he trusts Chris and Sunday the most. Adam gets some screen time here, and he gets a lot of screen time this episode, which was very scary. He's like, this is where the great players are separated from the mediocre ones, and he wants to be in the former category. So I don't know, maybe that is foreshadowing to a winner's edit. Alyssa, what do you think?
I try not to look too much into edits, just because there have been times I was completely convinced someone was getting a winner's edit, and then they became the runner-up, and that makes me a little bit upset. But I do not know. I guess that's all I really have to say. I do not know.
Yeah, I mean, I don't follow Edgic. Like, Edgic just confuses me a lot, but apparently for Edgic stuff, Michelle was the only person like ranked higher than Adam to like win the game. So Adam is like the #1 winner pick now, apparently. So that's really interesting. We also hear a confessional from Michelle basically saying Jay and Taylor are the two people like I could potentially take to the end of this game. We hear Jay talk and he's basically saying the opposite. Taylor and Michelle I'm close with. He thinks he has Will, Hannah, Bret, and Sunday. So that would be Jay, Taylor, Michelle, Will, Hannah, Bret, Sunday. That's 7 people. So maybe that's why he was thinking that he's like the kingpin and he could vote out like whoever he wanted. I mean, I was trying to do the numbers. You need 7 to vote someone out in a 13-person alliance.
Yeah, and I feel like kind of bad to assume that you have the numbers, especially when you just like obviously betrayed someone and another person was talking about voting for another member of your alliance. Like, to me, if I was Jay, that would have been 2 really big red flags, and I don't think I would have counted on either Hannah or Adam's vote. So
No, yeah. So maybe it's like kudos to Hannah, like being able to not show that she's angry.
yeah, I would agree with that. Just because there are some people who wear their heart on their sleeve and they make it very obvious that when you betrayed them, they are no longer interested in you. And I think that can really only hurt that person, because the more people who think have your loyalty, I think the easier the game will be for you, as long as you play it smart. Because if everyone thinks that you're loyal to them, then putting you out. So
No, yeah. So I mean, going along with the whole Jay thing, Zeke has 2 confessionals, and he basically wants the nerdy pals, how fun, of Hannah and Adam to stick together. And I thought it was really interesting how Zeke describes Jay. He's not saying like, oh, Jay is so like manipulative, like we need to vote him out. Like he says Jay is very charming, very like enchanting. He's got that Jay charm and mystique that like draws everyone in. And I thought that was a very interesting way. So people might not see Jay as like manipulative, but he's got that maybe like Parvati kind of vibes that he can just draw people in with his good looks.
I guess it's kind of like, I'm trying to think of another good metaphor, because I'm not sure Parvati is quite right.
Yeah, yeah.
But
I mean, I feel like Jay has sort of like a Kelly Wentworth-esque style game. People might be underestimating him a little bit, but he's definitely like a target. He's in the underdog spot right now, like with 2 other people in like the bottom 3, like Kelly was in a Second Chance. And he does have the idol. So like I am like hoping, you know, I'm going to predict Jay is going to have some badass idol play. And like I think Jay will probably go pretty far in the game.
Yeah, I think Jay's also going to go pretty far in the game, just because he's one of those people where he's poised to play that underdog kind of game, I guess. But also, as Zeke pointed out, he's naturally very charismatic, and I feel like he's one of those people who could very easily draw himself up out of the bottom.
No, yeah.
The right opportunities. And I'm not sure if he's going to get those opportunities just because of the way the game is going at this point. But I think that he definitely will go far in the game, if only by virtue of the fact he's at least at the top of the minority alliance rather than at the bottom of it.
Yeah, I feel that. I feel like once the numbers dwindle down, so I mean, this is definitely for a next time part, so maybe we'll save it till then, but I got a lot to say about Jay. So, I mean, I guess, should we move on to our boy Adam finding that advantage? So.
This advantage, I feel like I don't really understand. Like, and I also don't really understand why anyone would want to use it.
Yeah, it's sort of like a lame thing, but first, like I got the picture, you might not ever, like on the tribe, like merge feast bucket, it has this like saying, and they didn't even like emphasize it a lot, because like, but it's got a clue in it, and I wrote it down. So like the first letter of every word on that like merge feast bucket, it says male brings advantage, find it first. And so Adam basically found that merge advantage without the fucking clue. Like, I don't know, I thought that was very funny, but I know that was very bad without the freaking clue. But I mean, I was like, damn, Survivor has these like little clues. Like when I'm at the merge, like I feel like I wouldn't be like, oh, let's go look at the first letter of every single thing to find the clues.
Do that naturally with almost everything that I read. So I feel like I would do it by accident and only realize it was a clue when I was like halfway down, and I'd be like, oh crap, I found a clue.
No, yeah, and I was like super happy for Adam, super proud. Like, I mean, he says he knows everything about this game. He finds the Survivor first advantage, and I'm like, this is every super fan's dream. He finds a freaking immunity idol, and he finds a reward clue. And so I don't know, I thought it was super cool.
Yeah, I thought it was pretty cool. But back to the advantage itself.
So he gets to steal an reward after it has been won. And so like at first I was like, why the hell would you want to steal someone's food reward or something like that? Like, I don't know. I feel like with other advantages we've seen in the past, something like this, you can, like, you're just going to be an asshole if you use it.
Yeah. There was only one reward challenge where I could see this being justifiable, and that would be the family reward challenge.
Yep.
But since
exactly,
they haven't been using that as much, I feel like it might end up either going to waste or just not being used at all.
No, yeah.
Like, obviously, if Adam uses it to, like, get to spend more time with his mom, who loves Survivor like he loves Survivor and has stage 4 lung cancer, no one's gonna, like, begrudge him that, I feel like. He uses it just to steal, like, someone's peanut butter sandwich. People are very serious about peanut butter on Survivor, which I don't really understand.
Yeah, that's what I'm like. I feel like the only, but even if you do use it for the family visit, if he doesn't tell everyone else like the situation, which he might not, because like Jeremy's trying to keep his wife's pregnancy a secret because he doesn't want people to use that as a target. Like he might not want to share about like his family situation. So then like stealing a family visit from someone who like everyone wants to see their family, and like I don't know, it like I feel like it's a lose-lose situation using it. And even last season, they didn't do a family visit. And this episode, they didn't even talk about the merged tribe name. So, like, we're missing out.
Yeah, we're missing out a lot.
I mean, speaking of, we can talk about Taylor stealing the food and Adam spilling the frickin' beans. So, Taylor, he is, oh my God. He says he's pretty good with mason jars and canning stuff. Like, that's an, like, actual skill. But, like, SMH people notice that the food is gone. And he's clinking all through the damn night.
He thinks that he's being so sneaky, and that's what kills me about the whole thing. Because he's like, oh, yeah, I'm going to go in the middle of the night and make my own little secret stash of food. And it's like fucking, oh, shoot. Freaking everyone realizes what you're doing, Taylor. You're not slick.
No, I know. I think, like, his blatant lack of, like, regard for the game and his, like, total nonchalance, or, like, I don't even know the words, but, like, just his whole demeanor is, like, annoying. Is, like, we see that he's actually...
I feel like...
He's actually doing some strategy this episode, which is good, but Taylor, I just can't.
And I feel like they talk about this more at Tribal, but it's like he's totally disregarding all of his other team members, and like the fact that this is not just his food, like it's supposed to be their food too, and like, the merge feast gives you a lot of food, and they shouldn't have to worry for a long time about what they're gonna eat. But, like, since Taylor had to be a little greedy little ass munch, they might not have as much food, and that's just not fair. And then he tried to play it off as, like, a serious medical issue, and everyone was like,
Exactly. There are 13 people at this merge. It is the first day of the merge. And then, like, you stealing the whole tribe's food, that is a reason for you to be voted out. Like, why would you do such a thing? You are not good with mason jars and canning stuff. People notice it's gone, and it's like, I don't know. I felt like this might have painted a target on his back. And Gen X realizes that, like, those 4 millennials are very, very tight.
I think that it definitely painted a target on his back. Like, I feel like even other millennials couldn't really excuse that because they're going to be hungry too.
Yeah, and so during this time, we see Taylor freaking stealing food. Adam is like, oh yeah, let's go have a chat with Taylor. And Adam is even like, Taylor is an incredibly unlikely ally for me. But, like, let's go try to convince him to vote my way. And I mean, I was very confused about this move by Adam. Like, sure, you know, you want to gain trust with everyone. You don't want to have these, like, grudges because of the whole Figgy thing. But, like, some people I feel like are a lost cause. Like, I don't think Taylor and Adam could ever work with each other. Like, you win some, you lose some. Like, building trust, but TMI, Adam, he tells him the whole freaking plan and the advantage.
Win some, lose most is what I say. But I feel like one thing, we have like in the chat section of our Google Hangout that allows us to broadcast, and in it we put our agenda, and Rachel says, Adam spills all the beans. And I thought that there were like literal beans spilled, and then I realized that it was a metaphor. So, anyways, I feel like Taylor and Adam, like, catching someone doing something like that's kind of not very nice is not a good time to approach them and get them to be on your side. If I was Adam, I would kind of play into the fear factor. Like, yeah, I caught you doing something awful. Now I own your soul.
No, yeah, like, I am very, very confused. And I mean, we can talk to Adam about this, like, sometime. But, like, maybe we aren't seeing how close he and Taylor might be. But, like, bad-mouthing Jay and Will to Taylor, who's super close with Jay, which, like, you can sort of see, like, the hot people are together, like, telling him you want to vote out Will, like, trying to create a divide between, like, who's Jay's #1 right-hand dude. Like, I don't know. I just don't see why you would tell him. I can see, like, voting out Will, but, like, the advantage thing too, why?
One day I might understand the mind of Adam Klein, but that day will not be anytime soon.
No, yeah, exactly. So this is one of the other reasons we were so scared for Adam's life. Like, Adam could be voted out with an immunity idol this episode. It was very, very tense and scary in the room when we were watching. But, I mean, good for Taylor. You see Taylor laughing like, oh, you know, that couldn't have been easier. I got all this info, you know. I'm a fan of the Survivor Revenge, and he wants to blindside Adam, which was another red flag. I was like, oh, shoot, Adam better not be going home. Then we see, of course, Taylor freaking spilling the beans that Adam just spilled. So many bean spillages this episode. So, I don't know. We see Taylor go to Jay and basically tell Jay everything Adam says.
Yeah, and I feel like Taylor, that might not have been the best strategic move. Like, I feel like there's some things that you want to, like, only give people the information that's absolutely necessary for them to know. And, like, being like, hey, you want to vote out Will? They want to vote out Will might have been good, but, like, I don't know. I don't think you needed to say the whole thought process behind it, because I feel like there could have been a lot more paranoia stirred up by being more vague with everything.
Yeah. I feel like the whole Taylor telling Jay kind of thing sort of builds up like Jay's storyline in the show. So like we see Jay smart and like he's thinking he wants Gen X to flip on Will Zeke overhears, which I think Zeke also had a very good episode this week. And he's like, I was like, thank the Lord, Zeke, tell Adam that they like they're gonna gun for him now.
Yeah, I feel like not smart to tell someone of the opposing alliance, or not opposing alliance, but of a different alliance that you're going to vote one of their people out. I don't know. Adam is just question mark, and I'm glad that he had someone there to save his butt. So
yeah. So I mean, speaking of Will and the immunity challenge, it is like a double arm standing. Like the one arm is hard enough because like sometimes on the bar I've like standing with one arm like outstretched, and that hurts after 5 minutes. Like an hour and a half with two arms up like that. Oh my God, it must have hurt like hell.
you see, I get tired after raising my hand in class for like 2 minutes. So props to Will because he's my age and he totally like slayed that challenge. But I feel like I liked the old version of the challenge better. Just because I feel like the challenge with only the one arm was kind of more about like your mental state almost. And I feel like the challenges that can combine like mental resilience with physical resilience are the best. And this was like almost entirely physical, I would argue.
Yeah, I feel like producers wanted to do like a two-arm thing because like with one arm you could potentially go up there for 6 hours or something, and they're like that might be too long. So I feel like two arms would shorten it.
Yeah.
And so yeah, I mean, here is when we also see more of Hannah. She's like, Jeff, the pain is everywhere. Everyone's lying to you. And I'm like, huh. In the secret scene, she's basically like, she says she knew she was going to drop out soon, so like why might as well just like blab out loud like that to Jeff so then everyone else thinks she's like a little special. So I mean, it was a crazy immunity challenge. What you see the face of Jay when Adam drops, and he's like, "Oh yes, like we're gonna vote him out." And I was like, "Oh no." And then you see Adam's face when Will wins, and he's like, "Shoot, my plan is like done." And I mean, do you think for Jessica staying in that long will like hurt her game?
I'm not sure if it'll hurt her game just because, like, this isn't a challenge. I feel like that requires really dominant physical skills. If it was like a wrestling match or something, and she came in second place, definitely would hurt her game. But, like, endurance challenges, I feel like aren't talking about. There is, like, a mental aspect to endurance challenges. So it's definitely not. It might hurt her game a little, but it's definitely not like a death warrant.
Yeah, that's like what I was thinking. And I mean, 1.5 hours for them. Like, damn, the youngest kid ever to play this show, Will, wins first individual immunity like crazy. And look at us doing nothing, Alyssa. What are we doing with our lives?
Getting a college education.
Oh man, so Will says he knew he needed it, so red flag for Adam. The plan is goofed.
I feel like whenever someone says, I need to win this immunity challenge, I feel like they have a disproportionately high chance of winning it. I feel like self-preservation kicking in, but I feel like they also for every immunity challenge, I feel like there are 2 or 3 people who say, I need to win this, and they only choose to show it the times where it's relevant and where they actually do win it for, like, dramatic effect.
Yeah, and the adrenaline kicks in. Like, if you know you're on the chopping block, you don't want to lose like that. Wow.
But yeah, before Tribal, partially because Adam's original plan went down the toilet. So, you want to talk a little about that?
Sure. I mean, during this time, it was also like, uh-oh, our boy Adam might be in danger, because we see so many close-ups of Adam's face. Adam kept getting confessionals throughout this episode. We were like, shoot, our boy's going to be voted out with an immunity idol in his pocket. And, like, we see Jay telling the Millennials, which includes, like, Zeke and Hannah and them, like, let's take out Adam. And, like, ha, 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 ha. And then so we see Michelle, like, being smart, and it's like, why would you take out Adam? You know, he doesn't have the numbers, so, like, doesn't have, like, the strength, you know. And then Michelle has said on multiple times that she would want to work with Adam, like, they're chill together. And so that really brings up the question of, like, is this move for Jay personal or strategic?
I feel like it's definitely more of a personal move. We talked earlier about how this is more of an emotional game for the Gen Xers, and the Millennials have been playing a lot more strategically. But I feel like for Jay, it was kind of like, well, someone wanted to hurt my friend, well, I'm going to hurt him. Huh. Take that.
No, yeah, like, I feel like this for Jay is more personal, but, like, in the long run, it could be a strategic move because Adam is so smart. He's got an idol, you know, he has this for, like, advantage now. So I think in the long run, it would have been strategic, whereas, like, right now is personal because they were trying to get Taylor and Will out.
The intentions were personal, but the ramifications are strategic.
Good wording, Alyssa. Very good. Smart. So here we also see Zeke tell our boy Adam about the Jay and Taylor thing. And then David and Zeke. Oh, yeah. So David and Zeke also think Jay has the idol. So I was like, oh, heck yeah. Like, they're going to be thinking in advance. Like, that's good for them, being able to, like, sift through who they think has an idol and who doesn't. So that's why they were like, Michelle is the safest person to vote out. Like I said before, the whole Ozzy and Elise thing in South Pacific, like, no one would give the idol to her, which is sad because Michelle is super cool. And, like, you would also get rid of the right-hand woman in this scenario.
I feel like it's interesting just because, like, we didn't see a lot of Michelle's reaction to all of this drama in this episode, I don't feel like. I feel like it would have been good to see a little more of her before she left. So.
No, yeah, that's exactly what I feel. I felt like Michelle's vote out episode, even after the whole Mari thing, she was getting so much screen time, like, during that episode, and then she sort of died to the back, and then now, like, this was her vote out episode, and we did not see that much from her, which I really think the whole, like, Adam storyline, like, it made Michelle's vote out unmonumentous, you know?
Yeah, like, it wasn't like, oh, we're sad that Michelle got voted out. It's, oh, we're happy that Michelle got voted out instead of Adam.
Yes, that is exactly what I was feeling. Because, like, I like both of them, so I was like, shoot, I'd rather have Adam stay than Michelle, so I'm glad it's Adam staying and not Michelle. And so,
yeah, like, if it had been someone else who's, like, less likable, I feel like it could have, like, more of a sad occasion, but it's not really.
Yeah, and so also at this time we see Adam being more sus. He goes back to talk to Taylor, like, I don't know about this thinking. Why is he so dead set on Taylor? Why not talk with Michelle or Jay or someone, but why Taylor?
Maybe he got something, man.
I
There's
mean, yeah,
some connections you just can't explain.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's sort of bad when Hannah is the one telling Adam that he needs to take a chill pill. Like, if it's bad. Like, Zeke and Hannah are like, I don't think we can trust Adam. Like, he's a shitty alliance member. Let's just vote him out. And that's when it's bad, when Hannah is telling you need to chill. Like, this is why Hannah got a very good episode this time, and so did Zeke. I think they got a good ep.
Yeah, it was nice to see Hannah as the level-headed one instead of the one freaking out.
Yeah, and so frickin' Tribal Council was littered with more Millennial and Gen X stereotypes. I was like, ugh. And the whole Taylor frickin' food thing, SMH, so irksome. Oh my god, he does not make sense. In my notes, I wrote down, did he bump his head too much snowboarding? That's so mean, but that's like what I'm thinking. Oh my god, like, SMH, this Tribal Council.
I mean, this tribal I thought was interesting because, like, sometimes in tribals you can see people's votes changing as tribal goes on, but that didn't really happen here. Like, everyone voted the way they thought they were going to vote coming in. Sometimes Jeff Probst likes to meddle with people, and, like, he changes people's votes as tribal is occurring, but that didn't happen, and I'm not sure whether or not I should be happy about that. So.
Yeah, Alyssa, we predicted this 9-4 vote split. We got every single person right on this 9-4 split. So I was like, hell yeah, at least we got that prediction right, even though my fantasy guesses on Fantasy Survivor were not good. But when Adam does not stand up to play that idol, I was like, oh no. I was sort of scared because, Jay, he thought he had the 7 that he needed. Like, he could have blindsided Adam with an idol in his pocket. I was scared.
Yeah, I feel like Hannah must have succeeded in telling Adam not to freak out because he seemed pretty okay with it. Like, it didn't seem like he hesitated not to play the idol. So.
Yeah, and I feel like Adam not playing the idol might make him, like, less of a threat because, like, next time, so, like, less of a threat because people don't think he has the idol, so they might not want a gun for him. But now this whole, like, advantage is going to come out next time because Taylor's going to spill the beans once again. Like,
I feel like once Taylor spills the beans, it would be in Adam's best interest to tell everyone what the advantage is, because we've seen time and time again, like, especially with Stephen Fishback, that, like, having an advantage that people don't know what it is a dangerous thing, just because people, like, come up with the, like, weirdest crap to try to, like, find out what the advantage is, and if they think that he has the steal a vote advantage or something along those lines, they won't hesitate to vote him out. But I feel like this is an advantage where you can say, like, look, it's just a reward. Like, that doesn't actually affect the game that much. I don't feel like it more manipulates the emotional side of the game than the strategic side of the game. So yeah. I feel like with that in mind, it might be better just to air it out.
Yeah, I think the question for this episode, I'll stick it in, like, the description for you guys to answer, but the question for this episode is, do you guys think Adam is getting, like, I'm not really sure, like, was he playing too hard and this is leading to his downfall in the near future, like a next few votes? Or do you think this is setting up Adam for, like, a winners or a final Tribal Council edit? So that'll be the question. I think next time, Adam, he doesn't really have an alliance. Like, he's not very, very close with people, it seems. So he might have sketched people out by playing too hard. But because he doesn't have an alliance, I think, like Jay, if he makes it, and, like, Taylor and Will get voted out, like, though they can use these numbers to vote someone, like, a big dude out, like the challenge threat. So maybe, like, a Taylor or Jay or Bret or Chris or Ken or someone might go home. But I don't know. I think Taylor or Will could go home based on a vote split, and Jay uses the idol on himself. So someone like Taylor or Will could go home because of that.
Yeah, I agree with that. Because I feel like now, post-merge, people are starting to look at that a lot more. And especially since a lot of the guys who left are the more dominant people in challenges, I feel like that's going to become more of a factor in voting people out. It's just because since there are so many people who have the potential to do well in challenges and only one of them can win the idol at a time, it's like, might as well start weeding them out now.
Yeah, exactly. And there are only 3 females left in the game, and there are 9 dudes, which is very interesting, I feel like, out of the 3 females. So there's Sunday, Jessica, and Hannah. I feel like none of them can win this game. Like, they might make it to Final Tribal Council, could get a vote, or maybe not, but I don't think a female is winning this season. I think 100% a male is winning.
Yeah, I would agree with that, which makes me kind of sad. Just because, like, I feel like a lot of the girls had potential coming into this game. But
yeah,
I'm more interested to see whether a millennial or a Gen Xer wins the game, because I feel like that's indicative a lot of what they were talking about with second chances about old school versus new school Survivor, and like whether the patiently waiting is a more effective strategy or whether playing hard all the time works better. So I think it'll be another interesting insight into the game of Survivor as a whole.
No, yeah, I think it's going to be very interesting, like, on Monday when we do the winners power ranking, to see, like, where each of us put them. Because, like, if we got, like, Gen X are up there or, like, millennials up there, like, I think next week 9-3 is, like, a big thing if they just want to pick off a Jay, Taylor, or Will. But I really feel like voting blocks, it's going to split. Like, after 1 or 2 votes, I think Jay, Taylor, and Will could make it far if they survive, like, these crucial votes right now.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we'll see what happens. Like Rachel said, we are going to be doing a podcast on Monday where we're going to be doing power rankings to see who we each think has the highest chance of winning the game as a whole. And so keep a lookout for that on Monday. If the date changes for whatever reason, we'll be sure to let you know. And then we'll be returning to our normal podcasting time of Friday next week, because both of us will be here. Yeah, we want you to answer the question that Rachel asked earlier, so please like, comment, and subscribe. We love you guys. We love Survivor. And
see you guys on Monday. Super exciting. Thanks for watching.